Now, former chief of the US Border Patrol has revealed on 60 Minutes just how little the Biden administration cares about protecting Americans from illegal immigrants. Have a look.
I've never had one conversation with the president or the vice president for that matter. And so I was the chief of the Border Patrol. I commanded 21,000 people. That's a problem.
Ami, Joe Biden has time to talk to Insta influencers. He's got time to have late night TV hosts hanging out with him and getting ice cream. And of course, as VP, he was talking to Hunter Biden's many foreign business associates, but he cannot talk to the chief of the US Border Patrol during the worst immigration crisis the country has seen?
Yeah, he not only didn't talk to the current head of the Border Patrol, he didn't talk to the past head of the Border Patrol either. And not just him, but don't forget, Harris, by the way, is the head. She's the border czar. This is her job. This is what she's supposed to do for a living. But remember, she's also never been to Europe, right? This is the doubling down of the administration on a failed policy that's not only a failed policy for the country, but is going to bite him in the behind, because this has become one of the most important issues in this election. Yet even though he knows that, even though all the polls are telling him that, for some bizarre reason, he keeps doubling down on this insanity. And by the way, he doesn't have to look very far for another example in the Democratic Party. John Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania, who, by the way, came in as a left-winger, similar, by the way, to Kyrsten Sinema, who we all thought she was a Green Party advocate. He came in as a leftist, he has become not only a centrist, maybe even center-right. He has been hawkish on this border issue. He said that the border deal didn't go far enough. And guess what, Rita? He is up by 7% in the polls, while Joe Biden is down by almost 7% in the polls. Maybe he should learn something from someone in his own party. Maybe he should have a stroke. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Bad joke.
It's a bad joke, but you're right. John Fetterman went into hospital and he seems to have emerged a different man, a different politician. It's incredible transformation, and I often find myself agreeing with him. And I remember what he stood for previously when he was running for Pennsylvania, the junior senator there. So here's a revelation. Now let's look at some of the government data. This is from the Biden administration itself, and they're predicting the population of asylum seekers and other migrants is going to surge from 6 million last year to 8 million this September. This is an increase of 167% compared to 5 years ago under Donald Trump. Ami, this is going to be the top election issue. There's so many other issues, but I think this is going to be the number one issue. And at the same time, you've got states like California adding to this problem. A new bill introduced in California will allow illegal immigrants to qualify as first home buyers, able to access the state's zero down, no payment home loan scheme, where they can get a loan of up to 20% of the price of a house, with that loan not accruing interest or requiring monthly payments.
I don't know which insanity to start with first, Rita, but let's begin with the 8 million people. 8 million asylum seekers inside the United States. Again, just in the last 5 years. This is not the total number, right? That's 2.5% of the U.S. population, to put it in context, right? And again, what they're trying to do is make it. They have loosened what it takes to become an asylum seeker, right? This is what they've done to be a magnet for people to come to this country. And again, you have to. I think people in Australia don't really, even people in this country, don't fully understand what happens when you cross the border, and not when you get through and are not caught. When you are actually caught, they didn't give you a notice for when to come back, which could be up to 10 years from that day. Now, do they come back? Of course they're not going to come back. Why would they come back? And so, of course, yeah, they could be technically asylum seekers, but they're not going to be deported, not under this administration, for sure. And talking about the home loan they're giving, this is a home loan, to be clear. This is not a home loan given just to illegal immigrants. It's a home loan that is essentially free of interest to anybody who can't afford a home, which, by the way, in and of itself, just doesn't make any economic sense for a state like California, but let's leave that aside. But they're allowing illegals to be part of this scheme. It is unbelievable to me, even for a state like California. Yet you want to ask why they're coming across the country. It's not because, like they say, the Biden administration, because of climate change, right? They're doing it because, of course, wouldn't you, Rita? Wouldn't you want to go to a place you can get a free home loan? Of course you would. That's what's bringing them here. That's why we have 8 million asylum seekers.
It's incentives. It's pull factors, not push factors. And we know there are economic migrants. They're not awful people. Some of them are awful people and criminals, but the overwhelming majority are not. But if you don't have control of your borders, if you don't have a genuine asylum seeker process, then you're lost, and the US is lost in this area. Now let's hear from President Joe Biden. Here he is asked about his poor poll numbers, and listen to how delusional this man is about what's happening.
Mr. President, what's your message to Democrats who are concerned about your poll numbers?
My poll numbers, the last 5 polls you guys don't report, I'm winning 5 in a row. You guys only look at the New York Times. They're a great paper.
Ami, I don't know what to say about that. We've showed you plenty of polls on this program that are pretty clear about what's happening, what the trends are. Are Biden's handlers lying to him?
Yeah, he might be up 48-45 with the Biden family. Maybe that's the poll they're referring to. But the New York Times just came out with a poll. The New York Times, not exactly pro-Trump, right? Last time I checked, they were probably pretty much in the bag for Joe Biden. Trump is killing him in the polls in that particular one. And of course, we've talked about this before, but I think it's worth talking about it again, in that the crosstabs, right? It's not just the overall number that is showing how Trump is going to trounce Joe Biden. So, right, if the election was held today, but the crosstabs are horrendous. You're talking about he's going to win the Hispanics outright. 46-40, he is winning Hispanics. This is coming from a president who they love to say, talked about how he said all the criminals are Mexicans and how he loves Mexicans. Their tostadas are so great. That guy is up 46-40. Biden only has 66% of the black vote. That sounds like a lot. It's a majority, but that's down from 92%. You can't, his entire coalition, the coalition of the dispossessed, the coalition of victims, right? Black people, Hispanics, he can't gain ground. He's losing ground, tons of ground in his core constituency. If the election, Rita, the election was held today, he would lose 293 to 245 to President Trump. That is no bueno for the president.
That's astonishing. I can't believe the black vote has plummeted that much for Biden, because it is normally such a solid voting bloc, 90% plus they can count on, and that's fracturing. Ami Horowitz, thank you so much for your time.